question for you. You're a pretty straight up guy. I don't think you're going to be somebody that's going to sugarcoat it. So when you see something like this, I think you have 2 sons and 13 grandkids, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, congratulations to you. I don't know how you turned 2 to 13, but that's fantastic. So when you have kids, one of the things they teach you is the gift of, you know, not telling you the whole story, where you as a father has to sit there and be like, I think you're full of shit today. Well, you know what? I actually believe them, right? You're just kind of processing. Kids, we did it as well when we were kids. You know, some of us do it as adults, right? And some of us who do it as adults, have heavy duty positions. Maybe some of us are called Kim Cheadle, Director of Secret Service, and we're professional liars. I'm just looking at the audience and giving a very, you know, dry answer. But you look at it and you're like, you did it on purpose. Like yesterday, my son and my daughter got into it, oldest son. He pulled her finger back. She was crying pretty hard. Moment I walked up, I did it. I shouldn't have done it. I messed up. Okay, now it makes it kind of tougher to kind of play with that versus, I didn't do it, I didn't touch her, I didn't do anything, I didn't do it. Okay. Do you look at this here, Sheriff, and do you say, look, this is purely lack of experience, lack of preparation, lack of leadership. It was just a screw up. These guys messed up. Or do you look at this and have any ounce or percentage or doubt to say, you know, it is so bad that it makes me think about some of this was intentional?
I don't think it was intentional.
Okay.
And because here's what I know. Whether you're a conservative or a liberal, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, as the sheriff, and everyone knows I'm a conservative and a Republican, I would give my life for a Democrat and a liberal president or someone running, because that's my job to protect them, because that's what we do in a democracy. We do what's right. We're not playing politics. It's not a political deal. So do I think there was a, quote, conspiracy? Do I think there was? No, I think it was just absolute, total, sloppy, lazy police work.
You 100% believe it was sloppy. Now, you don't have an ounce or even 1%, 2%, 5%. Okay, no. So let me ask you this. How do you think, who do you think killed John F. Kennedy?
Who do I kill?
Who do you think killed John F. Kennedy?
Well, we know who killed him.
Who killed him?
Now you asked me his name. You know, from the school book tower, right? I do terrible with names.
Lee Harvey.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
So that's what you believe that's who killed John F. Kennedy?
That's who shot and killed John F. Kennedy, Lee Harvey Oswald.
Okay. So in your mind, you don't go to, you know, with the Zapruder, you know, the other angle, or, you know, CIA was involved, or the motivation Lyndon Johnson had because Lyndon and John F. Kennedy never got along, and John F. Kennedy had to go to Lyndon to become his VP because he needed the Texas money and the voters, and, you know, you don't put any of it there yourself.
No, I'm not saying that there wasn't some motivation behind someone for Lee Harvey Oswald. I don't think it was Vice President Johnson. You know, what people have to understand, and well, they don't have to understand it, some don't. There are just some flaming nuts in this world, okay? They get ginned up over now social media. They get ginned up over traditional media. They're fanatics hard, you know, radical right, or fanatics hard radical left, and they're just crazy. Just crazy. And they can be motivated by any different source in order to kill or hurt somebody that's high profile, such as a president or a presidential candidate. Lee Harvey Oswald clearly shot and killed President Kennedy. I've watched a lot of different work on that, and there's always the conspiracy theorist. But let's jump back to the shooting of President Trump. To suggest that we could get that many people involved in a successful conspiracy ahead of time, zero chance. This was just absolute, unequivocal, total, sloppy police work by the cops.
Do you think we landed on the moon?
Yes, I believe we landed on the moon.
You think we landed on the moon? Okay.
Didn't occur in a warehouse.
Have you seen the recent movie Fly Me to the Moon?
No, I haven't seen it.
I highly recommend you watch it.
Yeah.
You know why I recommend you watch it?
Why is that?
Let me tell you what the movie's about. The movie is about like literally what I'm about to tell you, it's filled with liberal actors and actresses, okay, who believe we landed on the moon, who show the story of the movie is that the CIA came and hired a lady to showcase in a warehouse to point, like make it look exactly as if we're landing on the moon. If we were to not land on the moon, we would have to show this part of the warehouse just to prove that we did it before Russia. And by the way, this is a movie based on a true story, is how they paint it. So it's to show, no, we definitely did land on the moon because we didn't need to use that footage because a black cat walked in. Just for shits and giggles, I think you need to watch it for your own, good actors are in it. Channing Tatum's in it and Scarlett Johansson's in it, and both of them are very, very good actors. Why do you think, if you go back, you're 72, I'm 45, I was born in Iran, and I'm in America because of Jimmy Carter coming to Iran and saying Iran's the island of stability. Mess takes place. He leaves. Khomeini comes in. It just happens to be timed with a 25-year renewal of an oil contract that Iran had with UK, US, and all these other places that expired in 79. Then you create that tension in the Middle East. Then you put in Khomeini that comes in from France. Then you get all these weird people to help him. Kissinger says, we're going to help you. Shah, don't worry about it. And then Kissinger pulls out, doesn't help him out. Iran falls. All these beautiful contracts comes in. Next thing you know, 1 million people die, 1 million to 1.25 million people die after that because of a war, and you had to sell all these weapons. You know how many people right now sit there and listen to that story and like, yeah, you know what? It's kind of weird what happened. There's too many weird things that add up. You go to John F. Kennedy, too many things that add up. I'm not telling you I believe on what happened, but there's a part of me that's speculating right now. So first, again, to the community that believes it, I'm not there 100%. I'm there 10 to 20%. I'm 80%. It was purely an accident and they screwed up. I'm a financial guy. As a financial advisor, 20-some years, all you're doing is you're managing risk. Yeah, we'll buy this. There's 20% chance we're going to lose it all. I'll take that risk. I'm only 45. Cool. I'm not taking 60% chance, but I'm playing with a certain amount of chips on the table. Okay. So first, you try to get him off the ballots, Colorado. Supreme Court says, nah, you're not going to do it. Cool. Then you put him in court all day long, saying Mar-a-Lago's only worth $18 million. Then you say this lady he raped, that the lady later on tells Anderson Cooper, no, rape is not physical. It's a fantasy. It's like, what? You have to pay her $83 million. Then you have to pay court with all the banks and lenders you paid all the money to. Another $430, $450 million, whatever the dollar amount is. Then the only day you can campaign is Wednesdays. Then they have a, where you can't speak. What do they call that? A
gag order.
Gag order. Then after that, you do the debate. It's a shit show with the debate, right? They almost thought he wasn't going to do it. He agreed to do it because all the things they put against him, no audience, no this, no that, no this. Okay. And then this happens and the support doesn't come and help you out, and Secret Service doesn't even show up, and she doesn't even come in, and you want the American people to sit there and think. And then Biden just comes out yesterday saying we have to put term limits on Supreme Court. I don't know if you saw that, the whole term limits on Supreme Court. Then their fear is because Trump flipped 3 Supreme Court seats. That's insane to do it in one term. They're worried if he gets in, he could flip 2 more. If he flips 2 more, the conservatives could have the Supreme Court for 40 years, possibly 30 to 40. You know how scary that is for them to be able to get back to Roe v. Wade? You don't think at all the motivation in today's times would be not necessarily to do anything about it, but kind of back up a little bit and not be too disciplined and intentional where you may have been with somebody else. You don't think that at all?
No, I don't. Because to do that, you've got to have all of the Secret Service that's staff there on board. You've got to have the state police staff there on board. You've got to have the...
Do you really, though? Maybe you just don't communicate with them, though, Sheriff, respectfully.
Well, but you've got to have the county sheriff and the city, you can superimpose situations, but I just don't buy into conspiracy theorists because I've seen too many slow pitches get fumbled like this before in my career.
What do you mean by that? Slow pitches get fumbled.
Well, you know, you should be able to slam it out of the park, and you whiff it every time. I've seen that over and over just by incompetence and laziness. And you either had incompetence or laziness or a combination of that. You could go on, you know, maybe it was fatigue, maybe they're on their third, you know, event in a row, or maybe they got shortcut on, well, we're not sending as many Secret Service. You have to back it up with state police. There's just 1,000 different moving parts. And although it sells well, you've got to get people to be complicit in such, and I just don't believe that.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear, and this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, click on the link above or below, place your order, and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.